Who is going to be the first to dance under those patio lanterns? Those patio lanterns that are lighting up the night sky. Good evening, everybody. Showtime. Paul Strickland Jr. Welcoming. Easy enough for me to say. Holy cow, it's going to be a long night, folks. Welcome to Vidane TV. A little Tuesday night action here. Back for the Tim's Corner Motorsport Wingnut Productions late model stocks. Race number 2. We're here for the Patio Lanterns 94 in honor of this guy right here, Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. here at the virtual New Smyrna Speedway. And you can see we are getting lined up for heat race number 1, 12 laps on the board. And there you see it, Tanton Woldridge, Scott Negus going to roll off on the front row. Richard Drake, Ryan Libby there in row number 2. NYK, Nick Potier making his return to TCM special events. He's going to roll off P5. Devin Laffin 6. Devin Smith, Danny Vitch, Chase McKay, Terry Duguay, Ashton Reiki, and Brianna Weagle going to be the 12 drivers starting off this one. And we've got booth 2 car communications with Ashton Reiki. He's going to try and make the show here tonight. Didn't make it last week, but he does have keys to the booth, so he may come up here and join us for the show here later on this evening. But it is going to be an absolute blast. Keeping an eye on the action here this evening at New Smyrna, as we've got 48, count them, 48 drivers showing up for these spots here tonight. The server filled out in 6 minutes. How about that? Tim Terry, Ashton Reiki talking before the race. Might be adding a couple of more entries to races down in the future, because we've got a lot of interest here in this Wingnut Productions late model stocks. These are, in fact, the cars to drive. Sunset going down in the corner, and there you see a green flag flies for the very first time this evening here at the virtual New Smyrna Speedway. Clean start for Woldridge. You can see 0.6 of a second. The gap back to second. The 55 car of Negus holding on to the second spot for right now. NEP driver making his way north of the virtual wall here. The Ryan Libby machine holding on to third on the outside. Rational Richard Drake, though, taking a peek down low in the 141 Lakers news ride. And you can see Nick Potier right in behind in the number 10 car. Car up into the wall. That's going to be the 8 of Devin Laffin. Looks like he keeps it going in the right direction. The Busch Latte car, the 94 of Devin Smith in behind. The 29 of Danny Vitch there as well. And you can see everybody kind of getting single file here with 10 laps to go. Got to give a shout out to everybody tuning in here tonight. We're live all over the internet. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know you're watching some Tim's Corner Motorsports iRacing action here tonight with the Wingnut Production, a late model stocks here. Race number 2, the Patio Lanterns 94 here at New Smyrna Speedway. Tanton Woldridge running away with his very first heat race so far. About 3/4 of a second lead over the 55 car of Scott Negus. Ryan Libby there as well in the 46 car and Richard Drake. That's going to be the top 4 as they run right now. Keep in mind, taking the top 4 from each of these heat races, and if my math serves me correct, there's going to be 4 heat races and a couple of consies here as well. Going to be taking the top 3 from those. Going to be able to follow along all evening long here on Vidane TV. We're going to be with you until the end of this one, and going to talk to the top 3 drivers at the end of it as well, and try and talk to some of these drivers throughout the race as we get the time, the caution laps and all that. You can see the 8 car up to the outside wall. Devin Laffin trying to make that car as wide as he can to see if he can get a little bit of ground on that number 10 car. And you can see there's a great wide shot here. Everybody kind of single file spread out here at this point. High five from Barney in the flag stand. 5 laps to go for Tanton Woldridge, who now has a second lead over the second place car, Scott Negus. Sun going down in the iRacing world here at New Smyrna here in Florida. And you can see as we get a little bit later on in the evening, that sun's going to get lower and lower. It's going to get darker and darker here at the racetrack, and that absolutely is going to affect the handling of these late model stocks. And talking to Tim Terry, talking to Ashton Reiki, there's a little bit of looseness out of the 55 car. Gathers it back right up, though. Keeps it pointed in the right direction. But talking to Tim and Ashton before the race here, they made mention the setup takes a couple of laps to come in, about 3-4 laps or so to kind of come in where it's easily drivable. And once you kind of get your rhythm down, it really starts to click off some laps. And you can hear a lot of these drivers. Ooh, another big wiggle there for the 55 of Negus, doing everything he can. We've already got 2 to go. Coming to 3 and 4. Coming to the white flag, white rag for Tanton Woldridge. He's got that 1 second lead now over Negus, and you can see Negus doing everything he can out of turn number 4 to try and make up just a little bit of ground. Slides on back a little bit closer to the front bumper of Ryan Libby there in the 46, and Richard Drake just a little bit further on back, but coming into 3 and 4 for the final time in heat race numero uno. That 28 car of Tanton Woldridge going to come home with the checkered flag. Scott Negus, Ryan Libby, and Richard Drake going to be making the big show here this evening. Everybody else, they're going to have to race their way in to the consolation races after the final heat race here of the evening. So be sure to keep a lookout there. We'll take a quick peek here at the finishing order. There you can see the top 4, Woldridge, Negus, Libby, and Drake are racing their way in, and everybody else going to have to come on in through those consolations here. And we'll take a peek at the grid for heat race number 2. Brandon Wilkinson in the 56 car starting on the point with Kyle Boudreau starting P2. 12 more drivers. 17 car going to start in the 3rd position. Chris Roma in the 83 going to start P4. How about Gage Gilby rounding out the top 5? Todd Cousins there in 6th. Colin Boudreau going to roll off P7. Dave Roberts in 8th. Chantel Pottle going to roll off 9th after a heat race victory last week at that track. Dave Horton going to finish in or round out the top 10. Taylor Layton and Dan Withers going to round out the 12 drivers here in heat race number 2. And you can see the iRacing pace car lights already off. This crowd is still on their feet. They know they've got themselves some racing action here at Vidane TV. And again, got to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're watching for. Drew Murphy in the Facebook chat. At home cheering on the 011 car, Doug Murphy. Go, Doug, go. And we're going to be keeping up with chat as much as we can here. Lots of stuff going on here at Vidane HQ. And oh, by the way, still have a trip to Florida I've got to pack for tomorrow. So lots of stuff on the go here at Vidane TV and at Tim's Corner Motorsports. And the green flag, we're going to fly once again to kick things off here for heat race number 2. That's about a little bit of calamity there back between the 2 and the 3 car. Cousins getting on after it, and you can see with a 3 Sundrop car, that's going to be that 25 listed in timing and scoring as Gage Gilby finds himself pointed in the wrong direction, spun around like a top, and looks like going to call for a tow truck. We stay clean and green. 56 car of Brandon Wilkinson going to hold on to the point. The 17 car of Reagan Parent there in his tired tracks, about 4/10 of a second on back, but the battle really starting to heat up for this 3rd position. The 26 car of Kyle Boudreau has it. Todd Cousins in the 2 wants it. All over the back bumper of that number 26 Mustang. And you can see as we get 2-3 laps in, a lot of these drivers starting to kind of single file, get stretched out just a little bit. They want to get some heat into these tires. They want to do everything they can to kind of save some tires and make sure that they've got a little bit of something here at the end of this 12-lap heat race to try and come in through the top 4. Right now, Todd Cousins holding on to that transfer spot. And you can see he's got some breathing room in behind. About 7/10 on back to Colin Boudreau there in the 81 car. The 05 of Chantel Pottle making some magic happen in that 05 car. She's up 3 spots from where she qualified. Chris Roma right in behind there in the 83. And you can see the 25, or the 128 rather, of Dave Roberts there in the mix. Taylor Layton, the 028 up in there as well. You can see Dave Horton in the 73 car pointed in the wrong direction, waving at some of the fans hanging out in the infield, and eventually calls for a tow truck. We stay under racing conditions, under the green flag, with 7 laps here to go. Going to see Horton join Gilby in one of these consolation races coming up here a little bit later on. But man, oh man, half a second now, almost 0.6 of a second lead for Wilkinson over Parent. High five from Barney in the flag stand once again. Brandon Wilkinson driving off into the sunset as all the clean air that he possibly could need in that 56 car. At this point, kind of treating it as a little bit of an extra practice session, trying to figure out what this car is going to do on a little bit of a longer run. Ooh, big slide there from Parrott in the 17 car, but able to hold on to it as we cross the stripe for 4 laps to go. Kyle Boudreau still has a mirror full of that Roma Bros Racing number 2 car, Tolco Electric of Todd Cousins, still trying to get that 3rd position, but holding on to the transfer spot for right now. So you got to wonder, trying to maybe gain a spot or 2 for the bragging rights, but definitely wants to try and keep that car in 1 spot. 3 laps to go now. Colin Boudreau has some ground he's got to make up in that 81 car. If he's going to try and transfer in with this heat race, he's got a little bit of breathing room in behind Chantel Paddle, Chris Roma in the mix here as well, driving as hard as they can to try and get up towards the front, but I do not think they'll have enough time to get up into the transfer spot. A full second lead now for the number 56 car of Wilkinson as he goes into 3 and 4 for the second to last time in this heat race. Going to take that white flag, white rag here, and there you can see it, almost a full second over that second position. Reagan Parent holding on. You can see both the 56 and the 17 have some breathing room, and the 26 and the 2, they are still hooked up bumper to bumper as they go down the back stretch. It looks like these top 4 going to transfer right on in. Checkered flag flies as the 56 comes out of turn number 4. Car around, but to get around everybody A-okay. That's the 067 pointed in the wrong direction. Reagan Parent going to finish in second. Kyle Boudreau, Todd Cousins going to be the 4 drivers that transfer on into the big show here tonight, and everybody else going to be coming on down to the consolation races coming up here after the heat races in due time. 2 more heat races on the night, and once again going to be taking the top 4 as they transfer on in. Take a quick peek at the finishing order of heat race number 2. There you see it. Wilkinson, Parent, Boudreau, Cousins going to be the 4 drivers that transfer on into the big show here later on this evening. Everybody else going to have to come into the consolation races. Having 2 of those later on here, and we're taking the top 3 from each of those drivers in those 15-lap shootouts. So be sure to keep an eye on that. But we line them up once again for heat race number 3. Brett Suggs, 33 car, going to start up on the points as they get them lined up and get them rolling down off of pit road. Noel Fougier in the 36 car going to roll off second. How about David Gillis in the 86 going to roll off in row number 2 alongside Mike Rhino. Dylan Black, Trevor Smith going to roll off in row number 3. Brad Hayes, Dawson McKinty, Dave Cassidy, Tony Wright, Nick Robertson, and Eugene Thorne. 12 drivers fighting for those 4 spots to make their way in to the Patio Lanterns 94 here at New Smyrna Speedway. And we have seen some pretty clean racing action throughout the night so far here tonight. Couple of single car spins, smaller incidents, and doesn't really seem like there's much hard. There's a lot of hard racing, but not too crazy as far as wrecks or anything like that. So these drivers know they want to put on a good show here tonight. They had a great showing last week, and the second race into the TCM special events, the winter season. We're already over 70 drivers that have started at least 1 race, and I know we filled out the session very, very quickly here tonight, 6 minutes, and we were all filled out. 48 drivers open, or the session rather, open for 48 drivers, taking 22 for the big show here tonight. Green flag flying once again, crossing a stripe. Brett Suggs going to move up to that high line, and it was funny talking to Ashton Enrique before we came on the air. He says, he prefaced it, he didn't want to sound like a broken record, but that high line may very well come in here tonight. And you can see Noel Fougier doing everything he can to stay on that high line. Finally slides on down in front of the 86 car to take that position. Dave Gillis going to hold on to third. The 08 car of Dylan Black in the mix, but he is under attack. Mike Rhino is there. The 44 car of Trevor Smith is there. Brad Hayes up in the mix as well. Dave Cassidy, a lot of names that we haven't heard so far this season here yet. They're trying to get themselves into this show. They want to make it to the big show. They want to make it to Vidane TV, and well, a lot of these drivers, they're going to be making it. Some of these drivers going to be making it. 22 drivers making it in the big show. A little bit of a wiggle there for the 19 car. Dawson McKinty holds on to it, battling very strongly with the 13 of Dave Cassidy. They're the bright lime green machine down on the bottom side. But a lot of these drivers going to have to join us here on Vidane TV and tune in, whether it's going to be on the YouTube, the Facebook. We're even live on Twitter now, folks. How cool is that? Twitter.com/Vidane TV. Be sure to retweet that out and give us the like, subscribe, the follow, all that good stuff. Ooh, Mike Rhino hard into the outside wall in that 34 car. It doesn't seem like it slowed him down a little bit. It looks like he's just kind of moved that car up about a half a car width to see if he can maybe get a little bit of extra grip and see if he can gain some ground on that 08 car. Black holding on to the position, the transfer spot rather, in that 08 car, and he wants to hold on to that as much as he can because, yeah, you do get a little bit of experience in a little bit of extra experience, a little bit of extra practice running those laps in the consolation races. But it's tough going into those knowing that you absolutely positively have to finish top 3 if you're going to make the big show here tonight. So these drivers doing everything in their power to try and finish in the top 4, get themselves into the big show, and then they can kind of sit back, and that's where they can kind of enjoy us here on Verdane TV. Pull up the old YouTube app on the cell phone inside the virtual race car and take a peek and see what everybody else is doing on the racetrack. Eugene Thorne in the 10 car having some issues, off-track incident. Looks like we are going to stay clean and green. Brett Suggs, half a second lead over Noel Fougere in the number 36 car with 5 laps to go in the 3rd heat race of the evening. Back up front, everybody's still trying to chase down the 33 car of Suggs. Still about a half second between he and the 36 of Fougere as they cross the stripe for 3 laps to go. Gillis in 3rd, Black in 4th. And we saw Mike Rhino was doing everything he could in that 34 car to try and get up to the back bumper of the 08, but it seems like a little bit too much damage there on the right front. You can see losing more and more ground as these laps dwindle on down, and you can see a little side-by-side incident. The 17 of Brad Hayes finding the grass down on the infield, but off the racing groove, out of the racing line. We stay clean, we stay green. Brett Suggs heads on down into 3 and 4, hugs that yellow line all the way around, grabs that white flag one more time around for the 33 car, just has to hit his marks for the Lake Norman ride. And you can hear these drivers bouncing off the rev limiter as they thunder on down into the straightaway. These things are tuned up, and there you see it. The 33 of Suggs, the 36 of Fougere, the 86 of Gillis, and the 08 of Black. Those drivers all going to make their way into the big show here tonight. The Patio Lanterns 94 here at New Smyrna, the 2nd race of the Wingnut Productions late model stock series, brought to you by Tim's Corner Motorsports. Take a quick look at the finishing results there. You can see it on your screen. Suggs, Fougere, Gillis, and Black going to be the 4 drivers transferring on into the big show, and everybody else, they're going to have to dust those cars off, clean the tires off just a little bit, and get them lined on up for the consolation races here in this one. But lining them up for the final heat race here of the night, and already down on pit road, and you can see that starting order on your screen once again. The front row consists of that 18 car of Josh Langile, Doug Murphy, and the 011 going to start on the outside. James Pileski in the 93 making his Tim's Corner Motorsports return. He's going to roll off P3 with Brady Cox rolling off on the outside of row 2. Bobby Hutchins in the 77 car rolling off 5th. Colton Everingham, TCM points leader, going to roll off in the 6th positions. Dylan Calabro in the 71 car rolling off 7. Mike Roburst, Mike Hopkins in the 78 car coming over from the NAP series, going to roll off P8. The Camry kid, rather, in the number 26 car. Brent Roy rolling off 9. Derek Gates, Brett Byron, and Carson Nagy going to be the 12 cars in this final heat race of the night. And once again, taking the top 4 into the big show. Everybody else going to line them on up in a consolation race or 2, maybe even 3 if we're feeling saucy here on Verdane TV. But again, thank everybody for tuning in here tonight, live all over the internet. We're taking over, as it were. We're on the Tim's Corner Motorsports and the Verdane Facebook pages. Like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. YouTube on the Verdane TV page. We're live over on Twitter. Do a quick search for Verdane TV. We're over there, I promise you, and we're live over on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/strictly94. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share, and give us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, and who you think's gonna win the Patio Lanterns 94. We take the green flag once again for heat race number 94, and the same story once again. That bottom side really gets the jump, gets clear, and jumps on up to the high side. So the 18 car of Langile doing everything he can to lead lap number 1 here in the 4th heat race. About a little 3-wide action. We haven't seen that all night so far tonight, but the night is in fact young. They're still 3-wide going into turn 3. Oh, there you see it. The 8 car gets turned up into the outside wall. Going to bring us out the first caution here of the night. And that's just a couple of drivers that are really going for a piece of real estate, the same piece of real estate as it were. And there you see the 8 and the 76 getting a little slamming out, side drafting into each other. And just 76 comes down, not quite clear enough. And the 8 car gets hooked in at that corner. Bobby Hutchins going to have to restart in the tail end of this one. Good news is, doesn't really appear that there's much damage on that 8 car, so gonna have to start in the back of the pack. There you see getting caught in the grass once again, but the 77 gonna lose a lap, it appears. Brady Cox gonna stay on the lead lap. Big time damage in that 76 car, so gonna try and get some repairs on that. Langell, Pileski, Calabro, Murphy, the top 4 as they run. And there you see it, the lights are off up top, the iRacing pace car. 1 lap to go before we go green. Once again, everybody lining them up 2 by 2 all the way through. 10 cars still on the lead lap for this one. Hutchings and Cox both trapped a lap down or more after that incident that brought out the first caution here of the night. Up front, though, 18 going to start down on the bottom. Josh Langell, James Pileski going to start up on the high side. Beautiful restart for the 18 car. But here comes that 93 getting up through the gears just a little bit quicker, it seems. Going to try and make that high line work. But the challenge now from 3rd place comes in. The 71 car trying to make a little magic happen. Calabro doing what he can to get up there. And there you see the 48 car stuck on the high side. Ooh, contact between the 93 and the 18. And it sent the 18 on around, and we'll have to take a look at that. That might have been the dreaded net code that we hear about all the time here in the sim racing world. But in any sense, it is in fact going to bring out caution flag number 2 here with 6 laps to go. We'll pull up the U-House Racing Designs instant replay, and you can see the 93 kind of backs way off. Yeah, he gets in there pretty hot. Yeah, gives him a second tap in there. The 18 car down and around. Some other drivers coming up and getting some damage as well. There's Hopkins doing a great job getting woed up and making sure that car stays in one piece. So we'll see where everybody lines up after this one. You got to wonder if there's going to be a tap rule for Mr. Pileski getting into the back bumper there of the 18 car, but we will in fact see, and it looks like that may be the case. Pileski going to drop back to at least 5th for for the time being. A little bit of damage in the 78 car in behind him, and of Mike Hopkins. A couple of drivers picking up a little bit of damage, but I got a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of damaged sheet metal. A lot of the virtual sheet metal tore up just a little bit here. A little bit of a shorter race, 94 laps on the docket here tonight in the main event, and that kind of lights a fire under all these drivers. They know they've got less time to get down and around this racetrack and get to that checkered flag. So there you see the 18 car going to come back down on pit road, and nope, just letting everybody know that he's there. The 18 car actually down a lap, getting trapped a lap down after having to come down and work on some of that car. Slow pit stops in these late model stocks. That's why you don't see them on pit road very often. But Dylan Calabro going to hold on to the lead. There you can see Colton Everingham, the points leader in the 48 car. Currently in second, Brent Roy, and the 26 G&G's Gift Flow Racing ride going to roll off third. Brett Byron in fourth. Mike Hopkins holding on to the top 5 for right now. Carson Nagy and James Pileski going to be the drivers on the lead lap in this one. And there you see James Pileski taking that tap rule. He's going to start at the tail end of the longest line for causing that incident. So going to be interesting to see if Pileski is going to be able to make up some spots and get into this one. Remember, we're taking the top 4, and there's only 7 cars currently on the lead lap. We're going to get that restart with 2 laps to go here. Green-white checkered attempt in this 4th heat race, and once again taking 4 drivers into the big one. So should get 1 to go this time by. We'll see. Pace car driver going to reach off, hit the switch, turn those lights off, and there you see him. Drivers already lined up 2 by 2. They want to get this thing over with and get on down to the big show. The Patio Lanterns 94 here at the virtual New Smyrna Speedway here for Tim's Corner Motorsports, and you can see everybody lined up as they come on down the back straightaway under caution for what could be the final time in this heat race. But man, this has been one of the more lively heat races of the night so far. Saw some cool, calm, and collected drivers earlier on, and well, maybe now that the sun's starting to go down, things are starting to heat up. Green flag flies, popsicle sticks, 2 laps to go. How about some contact for the lead? The 48 going to drift up the track just a little bit, going to be able to tuck into the tire tracks of the number 71 of Calibro. 48 car taking a peek down low. Does he have enough room? No, hard on the binders, but all over the back bumper of the 71. Going to try and get down to the bottom of the racetrack. Slides up just a little bit. Not enough room to get there. White flag flies. Battle is for third. Brent Roy trying to take it away from the 22 car of Byron. The 93 car Paletzky took a peek down low to try and race his way in to the big one. Calibro going to drive away by about 0.4 of a second, and it is Calamity in behind them. How about that? Great finish for heat race number 4. Calibro, Everingham, Byron, and Roy going to be the 4 drivers that transfer on into the big show here tonight. And well, you've heard us say it a couple of times so far here this evening. Everybody else going to have to try and jump on in to the last chance for romance, get themselves a top 3 in one of the consolation races coming up here momentarily. But there you see a great shot of Dylan Calibro coming home with the heat race victory. And a handful of damaged cars in this one. Take a peek here at the starting, or check that, Heat 4 results. Calibro, Everingham, Byron, and Roy going to be the top 4 that move on to the big show here tonight. Everybody else, well, they're lining them up already. And you can take a peek right now at the starting grid for the first consolation race here tonight. How about that pole sitter, NYK? Nick Potier going to roll off consolation race number 1. Mike Rhino going to start on his outside. Devin Laffin there in third. Trevor Smith, Devin Smith, Dawson McKinty, Danny Vitch, Dave Cassidy, Terry Duguay, Tony Wright, Ashton Reiki up in this one. Brad Hayes going to round out the 12 drivers, the first 12 drivers in this one. Boop, turn the page. There we go. How about that? The 13th position belongs to the 11 car of Brianna Weagle, Eugene Thorne, Chase McKay, and Nick Robertson. 16 drivers in the field for the consolation race, and we're taking 3 after 15 laps. So everybody going to be minding their P's and Q's and trying to get up towards the front, try and get themselves a podium finish here in the first consolation race of the night to get themselves in to the Patio Lanterns 94. And there you see it, the iRacing driver in that pace car has shut the lights off. 1 lap to go to green. And we've got 15 laps on the docket for the consolation race. And taking 3. 1, 2, 3. Count them. They're going to be going to the big show here tonight. Everybody else going to have to tune in to the Dane TV YouTube app, on the Facebook page. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch. All over the place. You'll be able to catch the end of the show at all over the social webs. And be sure to give us a like, subscribe, to follow, all that good stuff. Let us know where you're watching from as well. Let us know who you're rooting for, all that good stuff. Green flag flies once again. Great start for the 10 car of Potier. He's going to pull away by a couple of car lengths, but don't look now. Mike Rhino sees the opening down on the bottom side. He's going to try and get himself a checkered flag, maybe a little trophy, and win this consolation race. How about the battle for third, though? Trevor Smith trying to hold on in that 44 car up on the high side. Laughing. Who's laughing now? He's stuck on the high side, that 44 car. Oh, he's got to make it work just a little bit. A little bit of a run coming off of turn 4 on that high side, trying to make it stick. You got to keep in mind, though, talking to drivers before the show, big slide for the 44 of Smith. Holds on to it. Looks like he's going to nab that position up. Not quite enough to cross on down. There he is. Slides right on up in front of Laffin in the 8 car. Going to hold on to the position for right now. But once these tires, talking to these guys before the show came on the air, it takes 2 or 3 laps for the tires to kind of get warmed up and get everybody up to speed and kind of sort it out. A little side-by-side battle there. The Busch Latte number 94 down on the bottom side. Devin Smith doing everything he can to try and hold off a hard-charging Dawson McKinty up on the high side in the 19 car. And Danny Vitch out the 29 car, rather. He's making that high side work as he gets around Dave Cassidy there in the 13. They get all sorted out here mid-pack, but they're all chasing Nick Potier up front as they cross the stripe with 11 laps to go. First and second have some breathing room. The battle right now is for third. Smith and the 44 car has it down on the bottom side. The 8 car going to try and make the high, wide, and handsome line work. And you can see kind of driving in there, trying to get himself a little bit of a late apex, but the 44 drifts up just enough in the center of the turn to kind of knock the line off just a little bit for the 8 car. So not really able to get the momentum that he's looking for on that high side. And you can see it's kind of opening the door up just a little bit for the 19 car of McKinty to try and take a peek here. He knows that if these two drivers run into each other, they go careening up into the outside wall. He inherits that transfer spot. Top 3 making it into the big show here this evening. The 8 car not quite clear, not going to be able to. There he goes. Going to be able to slide on up in front of the 44 car. A little bit of a wiggle there for Smith as well. But give that transfer spot for the time being to the 8 car of Laughing as Smith now sets his sights on the back bumper. Big wiggle once again. The 19 car drops back just a little bit as well. They're still side by side. Oh, the 13 car of Cassidy's around. Caution flag going to fly with 7 laps to go. Take a peek here at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. Seeing the 94 get a little bit loose, little 3-wide action, and you see Danny Vitch just kind of loses it. Gets a little touchy touch from both race cars, and the 13 car goes down and around. Good news for the Cassidy camp. Not much damage. Able to get through everybody through on by without any additional contact. So that's definitely good news. Going to have to restart all the way in the back of the pack. 14 cars still on the lead lap here. Nick Robertson and Chase McKay currently in the pits and taking the top 3. So going to be interesting to see currently the top 3 as they run. Patia, Rhino, and Laughin'. But man, oh man, we've seen some great battling between the 8 and the 44 for that spot. And the top 5 driver, the Dawson McKinty, moved himself into 5th just a few laps ago. That 19 car right up in the mix. The 94 Busch Latte car, Devin Smith doing everything he can to try and break into that top 5, try and break in to the top 3 spots and make it into the big show here tonight. Terry Duguay up in the mix. There's Tony Wright, Eugene Thorne, Brianna Weigel back in the mix as well. How about the Wingnut himself, Ashton Reiki in the 26 car? Good looking paint scheme there. Currently in 11th, Brad Hayes, Dave Cassidy, Danny Vitch. There you see involved in that caution. But the iRacing pace car lights are out. We're lined up 2 by 2 once again all the way through. And there you see it, the 10 car of Patier down on the bottom. Rhino going to be up on the top. The 8 and the 44 in row number 2. The 19 and the 94 up in row number 3. Pace car, hard left-hand turn. Green flag flies, hammer on down. There you see it, the 10 car slides on up to the top side. Going to hold on to that lead position for one more time. Now that 8 car sees an opening. Laughing going to try and take away the second position from Mike Rhino in the 34 car. We've seen Mike Rhino work the high side at every racetrack we've seen him at, though, in the iRacing service. And you can see holding on to a real pretty wheel up on that high line, leaving that bottom line open for the 8 car to try and get on down. Broke the focus just a little bit because here comes Smith in the 44 car now. He's going to hold on to the caution flag, or he's going to hold on to the third position as the caution flag comes out. Lots of caffeine here tonight to try and get everything up to snuff, but we'll take a peek at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. There's the number 10 Pennzoil ride of Eugene Thorne. Kind of comes up in front of the 09 car, the 26 of Ashton Reiki. Oh, big time damage to the 26 car. Dave Cassidy involved in that one as well. You can see Cassidy grabs the gear, as does Thorne. Some big time damage. There's more damage for the 09 car of Tony Wright as well. So that may very well have taken 3-4 cars, 3 or 4 very capable cars out of this fight. Because remember, we've got 2 laps to go now once we get that green flag, a little green-white checkered action here for this first consolation race. And I don't know, we're only taking 3. That's a long, tall order to try and pass 13 cars, but we've seen some crazy things here on Vidane TV. So we re-rack them, restack them. I don't know why I just struggled with that so hard. We re-rack and restack Patia, Rhino, Smith. They're holding on to the top 3 spots right now. Laughing McKinty, 8 and 19. They've been doing a great job hanging out around the top 5. Devin Smith is up in the mix. Terry Duguay, Brad Hayes, Danny Vitch, and Ashton Reiki, the top 10. But a lot of the guys in that second half of the top 10 have picked up some damage throughout this one. Heck, there's damaged cars all the way through the field. Now that we look at it, it's New Smyrna. You're going to get some bent up sheet metal, whether it's virtual or real life. But hey, that's what adds to the entertainment factor. There you see the 10 car joining the field here, getting some extensive repairs done on that 10 Pennzoil ride. Pace car is going to go get a corn dog and a Coke, and we take the green flag once again. Green, white, checkered. The 34 car tucks right into the tire tracks of Potier. He's going to try and reel in that back bumper and see if he can make a little magic happen for himself, but the battle right now is going to be for that transfer spot. 44 going all the way down on the bottom of the racetrack, doing everything he can, going to get contact up into the outside door, checks him up just a little bit. The 8 car going to take the position, but there you see, leaves the bottom side open one more time. The 44 doesn't want to jam on in there and wreck both cars. They're wrecking in behind. The white flag is already out. We're taking it to the line. The 8 car holding on to the spot, had to beat that one more challenge from the 44. Potier, Rhino laughing. They're going into the big one, and how about that? How about a checkered flag victory for NYK Potier in the number 10 car? Picking them up, putting them down. Let's take a look at the finishing results there for that first consolation race. There you see it. NYK coming home with the victory. Mike Rhino, Devin Laffin going to rock their way into the big show here tonight, and everybody else, they're just going to have to tune in, take their last place points and tune in with us here on Verdane TV. And I do have a feeling we're going to be joined by Ashton Reekie here momentarily. Not racing into the feature here tonight. Still trying to make a feature start in his own series, the Wingnut Productions late model stocks. I know that song and dance very, very well back in the Verdane racing days, give or take 06, 07, when we were having a bunch of drivers show up for just a few spots. And Colin Boudreau, Carson Nagy going to start out in front. Chantal Pottle, after the impressive heat race win last week, going to start in third. Mike Roburst, Mike Hopkins in the 78, going to roll off P4. Chris Roma, James Pileski, Dave Roberts, Brady Cox, Taylor Layton, and Josh Langile, the top 10. Dan Withers, Doug Murphy, going to be the top 12 drivers as they roll off. And there you see Dave Horton, Bobby Hutchins, Gage Gilby, and Derek Gates going to be the 16 drivers that are putting on a show here for us in this second consolation race. And I believe this right here is going to set our 22 driver field and let us know who's racing in the Patio Lanterns 94 here at New Smyrna. Everybody lined up 2 by 2. The lights are off in the iRacing pace car, getting ready to go green one more again here in the second consolation race. The 81 of Boudreau down to the bottom side. Carson Nagy up on the high side. There goes the pace car. There goes the green flag. We're racing once again. The 93 car of Pileski around, collects the back half of the field. Caution flag flies right off the ripskis. U-House Racing Designs will let us know what happened here. And there you see the 78 rather. Doesn't quite get going, skips, misses a gear in 93 into the back bumper. The 028, the 8 gets loaded up, it looks like, but a lot of drivers getting a piece of the action here. There you see the 024 getting a little bit jammed up. That's Derek Gates in the 024 machine. The 028 of Tyler Layton getting involved in that one. The big damage, though, for the 73 of Pileski. Gonna have to restart in the back of this consolation race. And man, oh man, dropping the green flag immediately into the caution flag. So these drivers know that we're only taking the top 3, doing everything you can to get up towards the front as quickly as you can. And sometimes, you miss a gear, you miss a shift, you spin the tires on a restart. Anything can happen in these sim racings, especially here on Verdane TV. We've seen some crazy things here happen, especially on the Snapchat, too. You get Snapchats of cars 30 feet in the air, nose to nose, doing some kind of weird 2-car tango thing. It's crazy what you can see in the iRacing service. But in any sense, we're glad you joined us here on a Tuesday night. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody tuning in from the United States. Turkey Day happening Thursday. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'll be down south in Florida at the Freedom Factory, hooking up with the Pit Row TV crew. Going to be doing some cool stuff down at there. Some familiar faces with the Verdane TV, Verdane Racing Group as well. Won't drop any names, but hey, be sure to check out our Facebook page over the next 7 days because we got some cool stuff going on in the real racing world. But man, before we get there, we got to get things wrapped up here tonight. 94 laps on the docket in the big show here tonight. And we are working on the final consolation race. Going to find out 3 more drivers to make our field complete. Starting 22 drivers here, of drivers all throughout the Maritimes and Canada. Some of the drivers peppered in from the United States here as well. A couple of drivers visiting in from the NEP series that usually runs here on Thursday night. They're off this week for Thanksgiving. They're off next week because they got a lot of drivers that are going to be down in Pensacola for the Snowball Derby in 2 weeks' time. So a couple of weeks off for the NEP crew, but they'll be back at Stafford Motor Speedway on December 7th. And be sure to shoot on over to the Vidane TV Facebook page as we've got the new calendar for December and January up. And as soon as we published it, it changed. We got more dates signed on. We got more dates added in. So be sure to check that out and follow along. Be sure to give us the like, the subscribe, the follow, all that good stuff, and get all your racing updates from the Vidane TV Facebook page, over on Twitter, over on TikTok, all over the place. Trying to take over that social media because that's where the magic happens. Lights are off once again. Lined up 2x2, the 93 of Nagy down on the bottom side. Boudreaux in the 81. Up on the high side, Chantel Pottle in the 05 there as well. Hopkins running P4. Roma going to round out the top 5. Green flag flies once again as they cross the stripe. 9 laps to go for Nagy in the 93. First 2 drivers able to skate on away. The 05 car of Chantel Pottle holding on to third right now, but it's a dogfight in behind. Everybody getting loose off of turn number 4. We made mention that it takes a couple of laps for these tires to get heat in them. But in these consolation races, you've only got 15 laps. We've already had a couple of cautions. You have no time. You don't have enough time to get tires heated up and get everything whole straightened out. You got to go. You got to get up there and get into that top 3. And you can see Chantel Pottle, a little bit of breathing room in behind Mike Hopkins. The battle in behind him, though. Hopkins has a bit of breathing room. The 028 under attack by a lap car, it looks like. The 028 is Taylor Layton trying to get his lap back the hard way, holding up the 83 car. Gave him a bumper shot just a couple of times there to let him know that he was there and try and get down and around. And that's a frustrating thing when you're 6 laps away from the checkered flag and you're trying to get up into the top 3, trying to race a lap car. I definitely get trying to stay on the lead lap, but sometimes you got to know when it's your night and when it's not. And unfortunately, Roma having to put up with that for just a little bit. But high five from Barney in the flag stand. Nagy driving off into the sunset. The sun's already set, huh? He's driving off into the moonlight. 6.5 cents of a second over Colin Boudreaux. But the 81 car getting a rear view mirror full of that 05. Chantel Pottle looking racy here in that 05 car, trying to take a peek down low and see if maybe she can take away that second position from Boudreaux. But right now, tucked into his tire tracks and going to hold on to the transfer spot for right now is Mike Hopkins, making up a little bit of ground, but does he have enough time here? 3 laps to go. That 78 car wants to make the show, wants to get into the TCM special event here, the Patio Lanterns 94. You can see the gap closing ever so slightly, goes all the way up to that outside line. He's going to have maybe one shot to try and get around the 05 car. Does he have enough to get to the back bumper? And does he have enough to get around her popsicle sticks? 2 laps to go here in this one. And the 93, check it out. There's a little bit of lap traffic now. The 81 car in between the leader and the second place driver. No, just kidding. That is, in fact, Colin Boudreaux. The scoring and timing screwed us up just a little bit there, but the white flag, white rag flies. Nagy going to roll away with this one over a second lead. The 81 there in second. Chantel Pottle holding on to third, but Mike Hopkins is there on her back bumper. Gets up, gives her just a little bit of a nudge. Lets her know that he's there. Backs up just a little bit. He's going to try and get down on the bottom side. Gives her just a little bit of a nudge. Turns her on around, but he backs up. He hits the brake pedal. He knew he spun the 05 out, tried to give the position back, and it looks like Roma may have slid on in to that third spot. We will check on the official ruling on that, but one thing we do know, Carson Nagy wins, and Colin Boudreaux going to roll off second. We will check on that third position there, but going to give these drivers an opportunity to kind of get the tires warmed up. We're going to step away for just a brief second, and we'll be right back for the gridding of the Patio Lanterns 95 here at New Smyrna Speedway. getting the field all sorts of lined up and all sorts of set for the main event. Getting official word from race directors. They are going to give that transfer spot to Roma. Mike Hopkins hit the brakes after getting into the back bumper of the 05 car, spun around. She missed the transfer spot. So did Mike Hopkins. Roma going to slide into third and start into the big show here tonight. Dylan Calabro going to win the heat race earlier on. Going to start up in the front. Brett Hugs. Yeah, I'm sure he's a hugger. Brett Suggs going to roll off P2. Brandon Wilkinson, Tanton Woldridge, they're going to roll off P4. Scott Negus and Reagan Parent, the top 6. Noel Fougier, points leader. Colton Everingham going to roll off P8. Ryan Libby in the 46 car. And Kyle Boudreau going to round out the top 10. We made mention 22 drivers going to start in the big show here tonight. David Gillis in the 86 rolling off P11. Brent Byron there in 12th. Rational Richard Drake in the 141 Lakers News Machine going to roll off P13. The 14th position going to be all sorts of filled up with that number 2 car of Todd Cousins. Dylan Black in the 08 car rolling off 15th. The Camry Kid, Brent Roy, going to roll off 16th. Nick Potier, Carson Nagy, Mike Rhino, Colin Boudreau going to round out the top 20. Devin Laffin and Chris Roma making it in by the skin of his teeth in that last consolation race. And seeing the 3rd and 4th drivers get into a little bit of a tussle there coming to the checkered flag. So given a heck of an opportunity here into this one. Tough break for Chantel Pottle, who misses the big show. But the green flag flies, 94 laps on the docket, and we are starting the very first one. Dylan Calabro gets a great start down on the bottom side. Suggs holds onto the bottom for just enough to get himself down in front. The battle is side by side for second. Tanton Woldridge, Brandon Wilkinson going back and forth as they come out of turn number 3. There's a little bit of a slide from pretty much everybody in the top 10, it looks like. We heard that it takes 2 or 3 laps for these drivers to get the heat into the virtual tires here. So lots of slipping and sliding. There's Reagan Parrott, the number 17 car, sliding around just a little bit. The 48 car gets in on the action. Colton Everingham doing what he can to make his way through the field. Big time slide for that number 48 car down on the bottom side, making it work, putting the wheels where they need to be. And you can see just kind of skating along on that bottom side. So doing everything he can to get up towards the front, get into the top 5. 71 of Calabro doing exactly what he needs to do at this point. You can see he's pulled away by a marginal lead, half a second now, over Brett Suggs in the 33 car. He's got a little bit of breathing room throughout the top 5. There you see Brandon Wilkinson there in 3rd, Tanton Woldridge holding on to the 4th position. Reagan Parent breaks into the top 5, currently in 5th in that number 17 car. 48 car of Colton Everingham right in behind. Noel Fougier, Kyle Boudreau, Scott Negus, Ryan Libby. Oh, Libby gets turned. The 86 car of Gillis gets into the back of the 46 car, gets him on around, stays green here. It looks like as we cross the stripe for lap number 7. Tough break for Ryan Libby, making a start from the NEP series here tonight, but we stay green, and it looks like Libby's going to join, be the first car out of this one. Going to pull down. Nope, still on track, so we'll keep tabs on that 46 car. But how about this gaggle of cars just outside the top 15? These drivers are doing what they need to do to try and get their position better than it is. They want to get up towards the front, into the top 10, into the top 5, and, well, preferably they'd like to get themselves a win here, but they're going to have to get around some fast cars up in front once they get through the battle here. So, oh, hard contact for the 141. Lots of drivers involved. Holy cow, that was big. Caution flag flies for the first time in the feature here tonight on a lap number 9, and you can bet we're going to take a peek at this one. Hard contact. The 141 of Richard Drake cannot find himself some good luck this season after having some equipment failures last week and getting himself a DNF, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit more of the same. There's some drivers going to the same piece of real estate off the front bumper of the 08 car of Black. Richard Drake does about 300 feet on his lid and finally gets that thing to stop, and, well, gonna have to call for the tow truck to get him back on out there. The 141 car, unfortunately, Dunsky's for the evening. You can see he's gonna be sitting there on pit road, so that right there is a tough break for Richard Drake in that 141 car, trying to trying to make some magic happen this year, but not quite getting there. It's winter caution for the very first time here tonight in the Patio Lanterns 94, lap number 11. Already in the books, and you can see the top 5 as they run. Calibro, Suggs, Wilkinson, Wooldridge, and Parent. Points leader Everingham in at 6th, Fougere in 7th, Boudreau, Negus, and Gillis, the top 10 here at New Smyrna for the Patio Lanterns 94, and lights are still on in the iRacing pace car, so got a little bit of extra time, and got some time to take a peek at the Verdane TV schedule. We got to finally sit down and kind of take a peek and see what we've got going on over the next couple of months here at Verdane TV. And I tell you, I'll be honest, it is a jam-packed schedule. Just take a peek at December and January. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, pretty much all sorts of booked out. You can see the lone Sunday race at Jim Hallahan 333 at Bristol, 4th running of that race here for TCM. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. But man, lots of stuff going on here at Verdane TV. We've got a couple of other leagues that we're talking to right now, but there's also a lot of primetime spots available. We got Sundays, Mondays, Fridays, and Saturday nights that are available for your league. So if you're looking to get yourself out onto the airwaves, be sure to reach out to us. Let us know, and we can definitely hook you up for sure. Just reach out any social media extension and let us know that you want to get out onto the airwaves here at Verdane TV. And speaking of getting out onto the airwaves, these drivers know it's back to showtime, back to go to work time. Got to punch in once again. The lights are off in the iRacing pace car. We're lined up 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through. Calibro Suggs up in the front row. Green flag flies once again, crossing the stripe for lap number 14. 71 gets a great restart, but we've seen just what Brett Suggs is able to do in the iRacing simulator. He is able to do things that other drivers cannot in a virtual car and a real car, and Brandon Wilkinson under hard contact or hard attack there by the 17 of Parent. The 28 car in the mix as well. Tanton Wooldridge trying to make it work on the high side. The 48 car kind of splitting the difference just a little bit. Running that middle groove, gets a little bit of a shove there from the 26 of Kyle Boudreau. Everingham makes his way into the picture as well. He's up in front of this. Noel Fougere trying to get in on the action. How about David Gillis in the 86 car? He wants some action as well. Drivers trying to get up towards the front. They're seeing just how quickly we're picking these laps up and putting them down here at New Smyrna Speedway. They know we've got a little bit of a shortened race here, 94 laps on the docket, so there's no time like go time, and these guys want to go, go, go. And look at this battle for about the 5th place, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. There's like 3 or 4 positions going at it right now. You can see Parent holding on to him, slides up in front of the 28, had a little bit of a room. The 28 gets into the back of him. 48 car nowhere to go as the 28 checked up just a little bit. Man, oh man, you heard the big old pop from the 28 car. The engine is done on that car. Mike Rhino gets in on the action as well, and man, oh man, caution flag number 2 going to fly on lap 18, and we were watching this one live, but we're going to take a look at it once again here in the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. You can see the 28 car just kind of checks up just a little bit because he knew he had a run on the back bumper of Parent, didn't have anywhere to go. We're going to do this one in slow motion because it's just one of those replays that you got to kind of take your time. So the 17 comes up, gets the block on the 28, everything A-OK there. The 28 car did have a run, gets into the back bumper, though, just a little bit. Lets them know, hey, I'm here. The TC3, that would have been bump number 1. The 28 car backs up just a hair. And the 48 car, unfortunately, into the back bumper, sends the 28 car around. The 26 car, the 36, they have nowhere to go. Hard contact there for Wooldridge, and the 28 car pops the motor on that one. The 28, there you see the puff of smoke. That 28 car is Dunsky's for the night. There you see him sitting down on pit road. A couple of other drivers down there on pit road as it's were. The 83 car going to get some damage repaired. Dylan Black got some of that virtual sheet metal taken care of. The 34, the 10, they came down pit road to try and get some work done as well. But man, oh man, couple of quick cars. Richard Drake, Tanton Wooldridge done for the evening, and that is a tough break here in race number 2. Working lap number 20 in the Patio Lanterns 94 here at New Smyrna. 83 car of Roma gets out off pit road just in front of that pit. Nope, didn't make it. Lost a lap, trapped a lap down is the 83 car of Chris Roma. Big time mistake. That's going to be tough to make up. Going to have to hope for another caution here to try and get back around these leaders, because it's tough to pass the leader one time. You get that lap back, you're going to have to pass them twice. The 78 car of Calibro shot out of a canyon, doing everything he can to try and hold on to that position, but he's got one of the best high side drivers, Brett Suggs, out on the high side trying to make that magic happen. Holds on to the high side, holds on to the second spot for right now, slides on down, though, in front of Wilkinson in the 56 car. Parent going to try and make the high side work, but he's got a little loose in the back end, but as is the 48, the 17 just barely clears the 48 car, gets down that bottom side, and now sets his sights on the back bumper of the 56 car, wrecking once again. Caution flag gonna fly again. Man, there's some tore up race cars in this one. Roma getting a piece of the action. Brent Roy, the 08 of Black, is in there as well. The 88, Libby, is around in this one. The 81, there's the 22 of Byron. So caution flag number 3 here flying once again. We'll take a peek at that YRD instant replay, and there you see the 93 and the 34 doing a little bit of bump ski, and there you see the 8 into the 91. So we're gonna back one of these replays up. We'll get it sorted out. That goes back even further. There's the incident as they drive up to it. This might be the one. There you see the 22 getting a little bit squirrely. Gets into Brent Roy in the 26. The 26 gets in there pretty hot. It gets in there a little bit extra hot, I think. The Camry kid getting to push that car up into the middle groove just a little bit. You can see grabs the gear, gets going once again, but unfortunately there's a lot of beating and banging. It's a lot of go-kart, or a lot of bumper car actions going on with that one. So tough break for the Camry kid. Going to come down pit road, try and get some of that damage taken care of. Has a long way to go here, working lap number 25 here of 94. Calibro still holding on to the lead. So lights off top, the iRacing pace car. We're going to get them lined up 2 by 2 by 2, 16 cars on the lead lap of the initial 22 that have taken, that started the main show here tonight. 22 started the original show, or the main show, the big show here tonight, the Patio Lanterns 94. 48 drivers showed up for the session to try and qualify throughout heat races, consolation races, and man, oh man, that session filled up quick. So we're going to be looking at adding more sessions for more drivers to the next session. But man, oh man, not quite the restart we've seen out of the 71 car, letting everybody kind of wait a little bit. The 56 car of Wilkinson wanted to go, had nowhere to go, got up into the back bumper of the 71. We took the green flag, everything A-OK now. But man, oh man, these guys know that we're running out of time. We're not quite halfway just yet, but these guys know that these laps are going to get clicked off really, really quickly here, especially if we get one of those long green flag runs and everybody kind of gets in to a little bit of method man madness here at New Smyrna. And you can hear already, haven't even gotten heat in the tires yet, and they're already bouncing off the chips as they come into the back of these straightaways. There you can hear them just getting on into it. So that's kind of how you know you're doing it right. If you can get that car to yell at you by the time you get into the turns, you're doing something right. And I didn't get a chance to run any practice with these cats this week, but I definitely ran some last week, and I was about a half a second slower than like 20th position. I'm not very good, but these guys know, and gals know exactly what they're doing here. Everybody kind of getting single file throughout the top 10 or so, pretty much the top field. They know they want to get a little conveyor belt action. Ooh, big slide for the 71 car, as trying a little bit of a different line, and that's not something you want to do in front of the 33 of Brett Suggs. Suggs knows that a very methodical driver, and he knows that if the driver in front of him is going to make a mistake, he'll know exactly. He's made that mistake before. lots of experience in that 33 behind the wheel. So if he sees a driver up in front of him, especially if it's the leader, make a little mistake like that, you can bet he's going to put that in his notebook and use it for later on in the race. Going to try and play a little bit of mind games, maybe get up and rattle the 71's cage just a little bit and see if he can kind of get that 71 to slip up just a little bit. No use in doing it now. Working lap number 33. Check that, lap number 34. So 60 laps to go on the big show here tonight. The Patio Lanterns 94. Brett Suggs going to move on up just about a half a groove or so and see if he can get a little bit of ground made up on the back bumper of the 71, and you can see he gets right there, but the 71 just a little bit higher on the racetrack, has a little bit more grip, and is able to pull away by just a hair, 2/10 and less of a second, the lead between the 71 and the 33, and that 33 car of Suggs still has that mirror full of Brandon Wilkinson, that 56 car rather, having a phenomenal showing, rolling off P3 as we started tonight, and he's been running there all evening long. Reagan Parent started in the top 5, currently running in the 4th position. Colton Everingham there in the 48 car, a little bit loose in the back end of that race car, a little bit of damage on the front end of the race car, but holding tough, holding on to that top 5 in the 5th spot right now. As you can see, Kyle Boudreau, Todd Cousins, Scott Negan, Ryan Libby, and Devin Laffin, the top 5 as they run. And that 56 car, he kind of gets up to the back bumper of the 33 and then backs up just a little bit. And you can see now the 33 doing exactly the same. Suggs is seeing how long it's going to take him to get up to the back bumper of Calibro there in the 71. But as he's doing his homework, as he's doing his study, there's a little bit of a slide once again from the 71. Slid from the high side down to the low side of the track, and Suggs is there to try and capitalize. And you can see, just gets right up to the back bumper, gives him just a little bit of a tap and says, hey, I'm here. But there you see the 56 car of Wilkinson there as well, all over the back bumper of the 33 car. And you can bet that 56 is doing his homework as well. Wilkinson doing everything he can to see what these two drivers are doing as they battle it out for the lead. Suggs takes a shot down in the bottom, doesn't quite have enough momentum to make anything happen. Thinks better of it, tucks back into the tire tracks, but man, oh man, that 33 car is on a mission. He is on the attack, and he is just waiting for that 71 car to make a mistake. You can see, take a little look at the onboard shot of the 33 car, just taking every opportunity to try and get lower on the racetrack than the 71. There you can see, big time able to kind of close up, and you can see off into the distance, quickly closing up on some lap traffic. You bet that's going to be a factor here on lap 41. There you see it again. The 71 slides high coming out of turn number 4 as Suggs very slowly, very methodically working the bottom to middle groove, trying to make that magic happen. There you can see takes a peek on the high side. At this point, I think he's just letting everybody know at the halfway marker that he can go pretty much wherever he wants that car to go. The 22 car of Byron gonna go a lap down here, gonna go all the way up on the high side and let these lead lap drivers go on a commendable move there from the 22, and it gives him a little bit of time to kind of follow along with some of these quicker drivers and see if there's maybe something he can do to adjust his driving style, adjust his line just a little bit, and maybe make himself better for next week. But there you see the 33 of Suggs taking another peek, taking another shot at the 71 car down on the bottom side. The 71 spotter letting him know he's down there, giving him a little bit of room, giving him that bottom side. And there you see the 33 car going to rethink about it, stack it and re-rack it back in second, but still all over the back bumper of that 71 car. Suggs is hungry. Two laps shy of the halfway marker here. Calibro holding on to the lead, but for how long? Getting a little bit of a slide coming out of turn number 4. The 33 car of Suggs is there. Door handle to door handle as they go into turn number 3. The run's going to go to the 33 as they come off. Little bit of a slide for the 71, but still holding on that high side. The 56 car there in third just in case anything should happen to these drivers. Ooh, caution flag flies. I believe Brett Suggs is going to have that position. We'll see what happens with timing and scoring, but the caution flag going to fly for the 4th time here on lap number 47. Caution flag flies at 93. The 86 make a little bit of contact. Mike Rhino tries to take advantage, gets up in front of the 86. And the 86 just gave him a shot, gave him another shot. So I'm wondering if there was maybe a receipt in that one. We'll have to look into that one later on because we've got ourselves some pit stops. Reagan Parent going to come down pit road. Scott Negus, Ryan Libby in the 46 car. Devin Laffin, Brent Roy, Carson Nagy, Devin Laffin, Nick Potier, and the 22 car of Brett Byron all going to come down pit road here. So this is interesting. You can see tires getting jacked up, the left hand and right side of the 17 car getting jacked up, so it's at least a 2-tire stop, and 2 tires only for the 17, 2 tires only for the 55 of Negus. No Fougere. It looks like they're going to get 4 tires on the 36 machine, 4 tires there for Libby. Carson Nagy, 2-tire stop, it looks like. So this is interesting. We've got a couple of drivers. The top 7, 8 cars did not come down pit road. They stayed out. The leader's still going to be Brett Suggs, the 71 car of Calibro, out there as well. And you can see a lot of the drivers that took 4 tires really have to get on the gas pedal here as they exit the pits because, man, oh man, it's dangerous going a lap down. Pardon me, down here under caution. But we'll get that all sorted out. We'll take a peek at how they're going to line up here on the restart. Again, under caution for the 4th time here tonight on a lap number 49 for the Patio Lanterns 94 here at New Smyrna. Tim's Corner Motorsports, Wingnut Productions Late Model Stock Series. And man, it's great to be here for race number 2. Phenomenal showing here last week. Had the slot opened up, had the session opened up for 48 drivers, and it packed up. It jammed itself full in less than 6 minutes. How crazy is that? All the way through heat races, all the way through consolation races, we boiled it down to 22 drivers, and here we are working lap number 50. Still got 17 of them on the lead lap, and this one, couple of drivers down on pit road, down in the garage area, getting some virtual sheet metal, beaten and banged out on, but we still got a battle for the lead, and it's going to pick up right where it left off. Green flag flies. The 56 of Wilkinson did not go big time spinning the tires. The bottom side, all sorts of jacked up. It looks like 4 or 5 cars able to get around the high side, and the 56 able to get up through the gears finally. And everybody else able to get up there as well. No harm, no foul, but man, oh man, that was a scary, scary start for the 56 car. And you can see just two laps, a lap or so onto these tires. Guys are slipping, sliding all the way around the racetrack. It's okay if you're one wide, but there you see the 48 car sliding that back end around, doing a little drift ski around this one. You can even see up in the high groove, there are rubber balls all the way around this racetrack, down on the apron. This track is getting slick and greasy, and it's going to make for some fantastic racing. And oh, by the way, we had some guys come down pit road for tires. Parent in the 17, he came down for right side tires only, and he's already up into the 4th position. That 17 car might be the one to watch here in this. I think if anybody's going to be able to get around the 33, the 71, and the 56, it may very well be that 17 car with fresh tires. But there you see it. Suggs holding on to the lead. Calibro right in there. Colton Everingham showing why he's the points leader in this series in that 48 car. They're solidly in 3rd. Big slide up into the outside wall for the 71 car. I don't think there's any additional damage on that 71, but you can see he's trying things. He's looking around the racetrack, trying to find some grip. The 17 apparent going to take that 3rd position with ease, getting down and around the 48 car. Almost slides on up. There you go. He's going to make that position, slide himself up into the podium, and now he's going to set his sights on Calibro in the 71 car. But man, oh man, that's going to be the move of the race, I think. If this thing goes green to the end, Parent coming down pit road for 2 tires. Keeping the track position in mind, keeping himself up towards the front on that restart once he came down pit road. But being able to get just that little bit of fresh rubber on the right side of the 17 car is exactly what the doctor ordered. Everingham down on the bottom side, up on the high side rather, in the 48 car. There's contact between he and the 56. Everingham struggling with the handling on that car now. A little bit more side to draft in there. The 93 going to move on down, try and get around both drivers at once as they battle it out here. And the 48 car trying to think better of it, coming in as the points leader, wants to have himself a solid finish, doesn't want to come home with a wrecked race car. But caution flag going to fly once again, it looks like, and we'll see if we can take a peek. There it is. This is the 26 car of Kyle Boudreau brings out the 5th caution of the night. So we'll dial it up, the U-House Racing Designs instant replay, and find out what went down with that 26 car. A handful of 26 cars in the field here tonight, and well, a handful of 26 cars having problems, it seems, as well. But it is what it is here in the iRacing world, I guess. And we'll take a peek at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay as soon as we hit the right button here. There's the replay button. And you'll see it in slow motion here. It's a 26 car, kind of goes up high, and the 55 goes down low. 55 already loose, kind of getting into the corner, tries to get it woed up just a little bit, doesn't quite have enough time to get that thing stopped, and gets into the quarter panel just a little bit. Just a little bit, sends that 26 car on around. You can see the 8 is able to skate on by. Brent Roy gets by as well. Out of the racing groove, but right there at the entrance to pit road, so not the best spot to be. Good call throwing the caution flag for that one, and it gives these drivers an opportunity to come down pit road, and, well, there you see it. The leader saw what those tires were going to do, or the second place driver, rather, saw what those tires are going to do. Dylan Calabro gives up second place. Get 4 tires put on that late model stock. He knew if he was going to have to get around Brett Suggs, it was going to have to be with 4 fresh tires. But going to restart back here in the 12th position. The 026 gets tires as well. Emeringham, Mike Rhino, David Gillis, Nick Potier, Noel Fougier all coming down on this one. And there you see up front, Brett Suggs, the lone driver that has not come down pit road for tires yet this evening. Reagan Parent there in second, came down for 2. Nagy, I believe, took 2 in that 93 car. So, oh man, this is going to be interesting up towards the front. No tires, 2 tires from a caution to go, and a handful of really quick drivers up towards the front coming down, getting 4 fresh tires, getting even to 2 fresh tires for the restart here on the lap number 64 when we get ready to cross the stripe. So we're picking them up, putting them down here on Vidane TV. Thank you so much for tuning in on a Tuesday night here for Tim's Corner Motorsports running of the Wingnut production late model stocks. Race number 2, the Patio Lanterns 94 here at New Smyrna Speedway. Brett Suggs, Reagan Parent going to restart up on the front row. Green flag flies. There's the start, and there's the jump for the 33. The third place driver spins the tires again. This time it's the 93 of Nagy, but everybody sorts it back out. A little side-by-side action for third, as you can see the 2 car of Cousins trying to make the magic happen on the high side, but doesn't quite have enough. Black is around. No, check that. Negus. Nope, that is Black around. Dylan Black in the 08 car, as well as the 26 is involved as well. Nick Potier getting a piece of the action. The 48 car, after running up in the top 8, top 5 all evening long. Points leader coming into this one, involved in this one as well. Caution flag going to fly, gives us an opportunity to pull that U-House Racing Designs instant replay up. There you see the 56 up into the 46. Little 3-wide action. The 48 just into the back quarter panel of the 80, the 08. 10 car gets some damage. The 26 involved as well. Noel Fougier does a great job getting slowed up in that 36 car and getting on down around. Looks like he might have made a little bit of contact, though, because he's going to come down pit road, get some service. The 71 back down pit road there as well. Fougier right hot on his tails. Mike Rhino down there on pit road. There's a 10 car of Potier. Everingham, the points leader, 48 car back down on pit road here as well. 22 car getting some tires on that machine, and they're all chasing Suggs. They're all Suggs has made his mind up. He's going to stay out in this one. It looks like the 33 car, old tires, and doing everything he can to try and hold on to it. Reagan Parent there in second. 2 tires a couple of cautions ago. Carson Nagy, Todd Cousins, and Devin Laffin going to be the 5 drivers that are going to take the restart up in the top 5. Sixteen drivers still on the lead lap, getting ready to take that green flag here on lap number 69. Nice. There goes the pace car. There goes the green flag. We're racing once again at New Smyrna Speedway. Suggs doing everything he can to try and hold on to the point. You can see gets a little bit squirrely, moves up the high side just a little bit. Reagan Parent all over the back bumper of the 33 car. Knows that he's only got just a handful of laps where he's going to be able to kind of capitalize on those two tires, those two fresh tires from 5, maybe 10 laps to go. And that's what everybody else is going to be able to move on up through the field as they came down after those drivers came down. You can see everybody kind of single file up throughout the top 5, 6, 7. First side-by-side battle is, in fact, for 7 to 55. Up on the high side, Wilkinson down on the bottom with those 4 fresh tires, trying to move on up through the field. Has a little bit of time, but not much. Ryan Libby there in 46. He's got fresh tires as well. A lot of damaged race cars here from mid-pack on back. Little side-by-side and a half. That's 2.5 cars wide. You can do that here in iRacing. I think the 81 car of Boudreaux holding on to the 10th position, side by side in behind him. Gillis and Fougier knocking doors, knocking fenders, trying to get themselves up into the top 10. David Gillis here as well. Kyle Boudreaux in the 26 car. A lot of issues in that 26 car here tonight, but still battling here for a lead lap finish here. 22 laps to go. There's a damaged race car from the 08 of Dylan Black. Nick Potier in the mix as well. Mike Rhino still on the lead lap. 16 drivers on the lead lap, and at a short track in iRacing here on Verdane TV, that tells me that there's 16 drivers that very well could win this race. And it's going to take a lot of luck. It's going to take a lot more skill. But man, oh man, we've seen some crazy things happen here on Verdane TV. Little Tuesday night racing here for Tim's Corner Motorsports. The Wingnut Productions late model stocks as Brett Suggs holding on to a commanding lead. And we saw that 17 car, the second place car of Reagan Parent, come down pit road. Got 2 tires just a few cautions ago. But I think as hard as he's been driving that 17 car to try and get up to the leader and around the leader, I think he may very well have burned those tires up. You know, it's one of those deals where you've got a little bit of time where you're able to really get into to the attack. As caution flag flies again, Dylan Black in the 08 car struggling with the handling. We'll take a peek at the 08 or the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. Focusing on the 08, you can see gets in a little bit low on the bottom. The 22 car just kind of gives him a little bit of a shunt into the back bumper of the 08, sends him up into the corner, grabs the gear, spins around out, points it in the right direction, and goes. So and it's tough. You lose a lot of track position if you're the 08 crew. But again, it gives some of these drivers another opportunity to come down pit road and just work on some of the damage that they've kind of occurred throughout this race. Noel Fougier going to take advantage. Kyle Boudreaux in the 26 car, he's going to knock some of the fenders out on that. As a 10 car having a solid run. Nick Potier going to come down, get some damage done, maybe add a little bit of fuel to the tank of that machine. But man, oh man, it's Brett Suggs up front, the 17 car of Parent in second, Nagy, Cousins, Roy, the top 5 as they run. Wilkinson, Laffin, Negus, Libby, and Boudreaux going to be the top 10. And man, it's getting down to the nitty gritty. 17 laps to go. You're going to get the restart with maybe 14, 15 laps. And you've got 16, going to be 17 cars as Noel Fougier is going to get the wave by here, I believe, in that 36 car. We'll see how that cycles on through. And it's one thing to even be in the mix up in the top 5, the top 10 in one of these TCM special events, especially here with the Wingnut Productions late model stocks. It's another thing entirely to even make these races. Talking to Tim before we came on the air here tonight, Tim Terry, owner of Tim's Corner Motorsports, before the last race, or at the end of the race last week here, race number 2, as it were, in the Tim's Corner Motorsports winter season, we've had over 70 drivers show up for at least one race, at least one start. We've got a lot of new names in the field here tonight, so I can't wait to see what that number is. You'll be able to check out all those stats over on the Tim's Corner Motorsports Facebook page once we're all said and done here. That's going to be the spot to check out all the point standings as well as all the new updates, news updates throughout the Maritimes and the iRacing world as well. Lots of stuff going on with Tim's Corner Motorsports, and lots of stuff going on with Verdane TV. Working on the calendar for the winter months coming up, and we do have some primetime real estate available. Weekends pretty much available all winter long, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. A couple of races kind of trickled in there, but as far as a weekly racing series, it might be something that you and your crew might want to get out here and hang out with us on one of those nights here at Verdane TV, entertaining the masses as we like to do. 15 laps to go, coming to the green flag once again. There goes the pace car, going to get a corn dog and a Coke. Green flag flies. Once again, 14 to go as they cross the stripe. Little side-by-side action. They're already beating and banging. Lots of door handle racing here. The Brett Suggs able to get a good restart. Able to pull away side-by-side for second. How about Nagy pulling into the second spot around Reagan Parent, the number 17 car. The 2 of Todd Cousins, he wants in on the action. Wilkinson back into the mix. The 56 car working the high side. How about the 26 car of Brent Roy? Oh, contact between Parent and the 56 and the 2 car. The 17 car is around. 17 car of Reagan Parent is around. Caution flag flies once again. And man, oh man, that is a tough break for the 17 car of Parent. And you can see, we'll back that up. You could almost tell those 2 tires were starting to lose their pizzazz a little bit. Up into the outside wall, hard battling for the 93, and just tough to look out the rear view and the front view windshield, as it were. And a couple of taps from the 2 car. Not this late in the race, you're really not going to try and get off the throttle and let somebody go at this point. So a couple of drivers going for the same piece of real estate. We'll see if there's any penalties on that one, any tap rules in effect for this one. But going to give everybody an opportunity to line up 2 by 2 all the way through once again and see if they can maybe stack somebody up against this Brett Suggs guy. And again, thank you so much for tuning in here on a Tuesday night to Vidane TV's coverage of the Tim's Corner Motorsports Wingnut Productions Late Model Stock Series. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. running solo up here in the production booth. It's a good thing they left some ice cold Celsius energy drinks up here in the production trailer, because there's been a lot of action throughout the night here. A handful of heat races, couple of contests. We set the field. 22 drivers taking the green flag here in the Patio Lanterns 94 at New Smyrna. The second race of 5 races here in the Wingnut Productions late model stocks, and you can see we're going to be taking the restart here with less than 10 laps to go. It's been a doozy all the way through. I'm not even in the cars. I'm not even out here driving. I'm just doing commentary and pushing buttons, and it's like 30 degrees outside. I'm still sweating. This is a lot of work. But man, oh man, putting on a heck of a show here on Vidane TV for us. And again, thank you so much for tuning in throughout the internet. We're live all over the heckin' place. We're on Vidane TV Facebook page. We're on the Tim's Corner Motorsports Facebook page, Vidane TV YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. Reagan Parent joining in the Facebook chats. Well, that sucks. And it does. Tough break for the 17 car. Quick car up in the top 5, top 3 all night long. Had an opportunity to potentially come home with a dubski in this one, but some late race contacts taking the 17 car out of this one. But the pace car going down to safety at pit road. One more again. Green flag flies. There's Brett Suggs in those restarts. Shout out of a canyon. The 33 car taking the spot. Slides on up in front of the 93 car. Single file, 1, 2, 3. Wilkinson, the new third place driver, the number 2 of Todd Cousins, doing everything he can, though, to try and stay on the high side. How about some contact between he and Brent Roy? The Camry kid comes sliding out of turn number 4 in that 26 car. Loses a little bit of ground, but he's going to tuck into the tire tracks once again of the number 2 car of Cousins, but he's going to get right back up onto the attack. Sawing on that wheel, left, right, left, straight, up, down, P square, doing everything he can to try and get up and better his position by 1. Spinning out around him. Big time contact in behind the 81, the 8 around. Caution flag flies with 6, count them, 6 laps to go here at New Smyrna. U-House Racing Designs AC at the 8 car gets a little bit of a shove from the 81. The 81 gets a big old shove from the 26 car, and that may very well have been the incident cap on Kyle Boudreau, the 26 car. As you see, he kind of got ejecto-cedo cuz there, and we've seen the 26 involved in a few incidences here tonight, so that may very well be the last lap scored for that driver. We will try and confirm that for you. But with 5 laps to go, caution flag flies. Brett Suggs going to hold on to the lead. Carson Nagy there in second. Brandon Wilkinson, Todd Cousins, Brent Roy, the top 5. Scott Negus, Ryan Libby, David Gillis, Reagan Parent in 9th. Dylan Calabro rounding out the top 10. And how about that? The 17 car, even with the damage, still holds on to a top 10 spot. And we made mention, if you're on the lead lap, you can win one of these short tracks. It's going to be a tall order Not a lot of time left to go. Going to get the restart with a green-white checkered attempt, it looks like. There you can see Fougere in the 36 car going to drive on around the field. He's going to get one of his laps back in that number 36 car, and that's going to give us 14 cars, I believe, on the lead lap of the 22 that took the green flag here tonight. Should get the one to go this time by. Indeed we do. The iRacing safety driver flips the switch on those strobe lights, turns those things off, and that gives the drivers the heads up and the nod to get lined up 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through. So a little green-white checkered attempt here at New Smyrna. The pace car driver going to dip on down, get a safety of pit road, and there is the green flag. Suggs waiting, making everybody wait for it as we take the green flag with popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go. Nagy doing what he needs to do up on the high side, holding on to it, not giving any quarter to Brett Suggs in the 33 car as they thunder on down. Ooh, contact! Third place driver gets into the quarter panel with Nagy in the 93. They hold on to it. They straighten it out. 93 sliding it around on the outside. They took the white flag. They wreck. Going across the start-finish line, Brett Suggs still holding on to it. Wilkinson in second. Carson Nagy in second, side by side between Livy and Perrin. Back there for third, but they come into 3 and 4 for the very final time. The 33 car of Brett Suggs wins here at New Smyrna, the Patio Lanterns, 94. How about that? Wilkinson going to come home in second. Nagy finishes in third, and there's some calamity on the racetrack for sure. What a phenomenal showing for these drivers here at New Smyrna, and Brett Suggs getting himself another one of them W's here in the Tim's Corner Motorsports and here on Vidane TV. And let's take a look at the finishing order here from tonight's feature. Brett Suggs coming home with the victory. Brandon Wilkinson, strong all night long, comes home in second. Carson Nagy going to come home in third. We'll try and talk to those top 3 drivers here in momentarily, as you see the 33 car going to burn him on down as he wins here tonight. Ryan Libby, Scott Negus going to round out the top 5. Egan Parent, phenomenal recovery, comes home in a 6th after that late race incident. David Gillis, easy enough for me to say, going to come home in 7th. Dylan Calabro, strong running in that 71 car, finishes in 8th. Chris Roman, 9th. Dylan Black rounding out the top 10. Devin Leff and Brent Roy going to be and Todd Cousins going to be the last drivers on the lead lap. But you can see Noel Fougere trapped a lap down, as was Colin Boudreau. Colton Everingham, points leader, going to be losing some points here tonight, finishing back there in 16th. 17th, Brent Byron. Kyle Boudreau in the 18th position. And boop, as we turn the page, there you see Nick Potier, or Mike Rhino, going to come home in 19th. Nick Potier in 20th. Tanton Woldridge and Rational Richard Drake, after an early race incident, gets parked a little bit early on. But we'll move on down to victory lane and see if we can't catch up with our winner here tonight. And no stranger to victory lane here on Vidane TV. Brett Suggs, always a pleasure to talk to you. Talk to us, man.
Yeah, man, good to be back in the booth and talk to Mr. Showtime himself.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about the virtual stuff here. Great race here tonight. What was the plan kind of coming in here to New Smyrna? I know you're good at this track.
Yeah, I knew it was kind of a short race, 94 laps. That's not a huge one. Tire conservation wouldn't be too much of a roll on it, but that first half kind of just rode behind Calabro there for a little while, and then right around halfway, we kept getting some yellow flags, and I knew I wanted to make a move soon. So started to work them over a little bit, and then right when I was to his inside, yellow came out, and it kind of worked out in my favor. Made that pass a little bit easier. It was going to be a good battle for sure. He was running really good, really hard, and we would have had a good side-by-side battle probably for a good 10, 15 laps maybe if the yellow didn't come out. But worked in our favor, and we kind of just had to hold on the old tires for the rest of the race and see what we could do.
Now, everybody here at Vidane TV, we're big Brett Suggs race fans. I mean, let's be real. And Ashton, Ricky, and I, we were kind of going back and forth about all the stuff that you've been posting here on social media. Got to ask, did the real laps at New Smyrna this week, did they help you out here in the iRacing sim?
So, not quite New Smyrna, still a Florida track, but I was at Five Flags this past weekend.
That's right. There's like 87 racetracks in Florida. I'm actually going to another one of them tomorrow. I'll be at the Freedom Factory tomorrow if the plane doesn't crash. So we'll see how that goes. But
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But in any sense, do the real laps do they help you out in the iRacing sim at all, and vice versa?
Yeah, they do a little bit. I think more vice versa. The real racing laps help more on iRacing because you get so used to running the iRacing line or driving the car the way iRacing wants you to. But then when you hop in the real car and kind of shake off some of the virtual blues, you realize these cars, you got to be delicate with them, and you got to take them easy. And I feel like what we did this past weekend testing at Pensacola, then to jump in the virtual race car helped quite a bit. And even though it's not the same track, it still kind of teaches you that composure on the throttle and on the steering and everything, and just hitting your marks all around.
But a dominant showing here tonight in the new Smyrna race here in the iRacing world, the Patio Lanterns 94, and heading on into the next one. Where are we going to see Brett Ruggs? Brett Ruggs. Holy cow! It's time to put these energy drinks aside. I think. Where are we going to see Brett Suggs next? Virtually and at the real racetrack.
Yeah, so for the real racetrack side of things, next weekend heading down to Pensacola for the big snowball derby. Going to be getting there, I think, Tuesday evening. So I unfortunately won't make the Hickory race. It sounds like you guys have going on next week. But heading down to Pensacola, getting ready to run the Snowflake 100. Feeling like we got a really good TH Motorsports Summer 15 Chevy based on our testing this past weekend. So really excited to get down there. It's going to be our first time trying to put it in the big show. And, I'm feeling good about it. I think we can definitely lock in on qualifying, maybe even go for a top 10 qual spot. Try to be there at the end, most importantly, and see if we can't just bring home a snowflake trophy at the end of it.
Absolutely. And who's helping you get there, both the real racetrack and the virtual racetrack?
Yeah, everybody at TH Motorsports. I mean, we've got a pretty small crew, but they do a whole lot of work to make up for it. And I appreciate everything they've done to get us through this entire season and prepared for the biggest race of the year. So everybody, TH Motorsports, North Creek Construction, and LMI Systems have been a huge factor all year long on both the sim and the real racing side of things. So without them, it definitely couldn't be possible. As well as TH Motorsports, Truist Sports and Entertainment, Brett Suggs Racing Marketing, Lake Norman Power Cleaning, JAM. I mean, everybody that helps on the virtual side too. McConey Setup Shop, just a lot of people that play a role, and definitely couldn't be here without them.
Always got to give those shout outs to the folks that help us out, do the thing that we like to do here and help entertain the masses here on Verdane TV. But another checkered flag going to the 33 camp. Brett, great run here tonight. Good luck down south. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. And also big shout out to Tim and Ashton, everybody that puts this league on. It means a lot to have our sim races streamed and broadcasted on a great channel like Verdane. So appreciate all you guys. Absolutely. That's, in fact, why we do it here at Verdane TV. And speaking of Tim, he's made his way down here to Victory Lane. Tim, that's a hell of a show.
Yeah, there was a few more cautions than we thought we'd have. The first half of the race was actually really good. Have to apologize to about the half dozen or so that tried to get in that couldn't get in because we filled the server with 48 cars, which is always a good problem to have. Carson Nagy is not available tonight, so I believe we have a fill-in. We have a stand-in for him. Brandon Campbell is here. Brandon, you're the crew chief tonight for the 93?
Something like that. Carson had to go to bed.
Carson had to go to bed, just like Ashton Reiki.
Is that where he went to?
That's where he went. He went to bed after he didn't qualify.
Oh, so he's been asleep for a while.
Yeah, he has been. The car was good, looked like?
Yeah. I don't even really know what to say. I just told him if he didn't make it here, I'd do it for him. But from the looks of things, looked like we just killed them with strategy. Took tires early, drove through the field.
I think the 117 was on the same strategy as you guys. You guys came up through the field around the same time, right?
Which one was the 117?
Reagan Parent.
Oh yeah. He was part of not the last wreck, but the one before, right? The last caution we had.
Yeah, the last caution.
Yeah, I think Wilkinson took tires a little bit after us too. To add, Wilkinson, it was his first TCM race, and he messaged me and he goes, "Awesome league," and this was like during heat race time, so I didn't know if he was like kidding, and I was like, I don't know if that's sarcastic or not. And he's like, "No, this was awesome." So,
well, I'm glad somebody had fun tonight.
You didn't?
It was okay. I want to congratulate all the drivers that made the feature. The heat racing and the LCQs were phenomenal. I think there's not many people upset, so we'll go back to the drawing board, and once we get off air, we're gonna have a little chat amongst everybody here, because I think we're gonna add another late model stock race based on the drivers that did not make it tonight and provisionals and all that fun stuff. So that's gonna be it. Congratulations to Brett Suggs, 3 races, 3 different winners. Danny Chisholm was not here tonight. Thomas Axum wasn't here tonight. And it sounds like Brett Suggs is not coming next week, which will be Super Lates presented by Tolco Electric at Hickory. So we may see a 4th different winner in 4 races. So, and we do have a new point leader. Actually, Dylan Black is technically the unofficial point leader of this deal too, after 3 races. So
By how many?
2 points over Colton Everingham.
Close.
So it's close, and there's some drop races to handle and everything else. But tomorrow night, Tim's Corner Live, Scotia Speed World Banquet preview. Dave Matthews, Bristol Matthews, Chris McMullen, and the late model sportsman champion Jesse DeVoe will join us tomorrow night. We're here next Tuesday night. Paul is off to the Freedom Factory, and it looks like the plane is taking off. So, Paul, you want me to take this out, or what are you doing?
Yeah, we'll take a quick peek at the Vidane schedule, because, man, once I get back from Freedom Factory next week, excuse me, hitting the ground running with the broadcast schedule, we still have some primetime spots available. Sunday nights, Monday nights, Friday nights, Saturday nights. If I just said the night of that your league runs on iRacing, you need to get in touch with us and see if we can't get you out on the airwaves on Vidane TV. Our DMs are always open, so please feel free to slide on in, and we will hook you up with our broadcast packaging. But I think that's going to do it here for us tonight for Showtime. Paul Strickland Jr., everybody here at Tim's Corner Motorsports and Vidane TV. I got to go pack a bag, because tomorrow we are wheels up. We're heading to the Freedom Factory, helping out the Pit Row TV guys, Uncle Tony and a crew. And looking at the roster for that, there's some Vidane TV alumni, some Vidane Racing alumni on that roster. So be sure, if you're a Vidane TV fan, if you're a Vidane Racing fan, be sure you take a look at Facebook and Twitter over the next 7 days. I'm telling you, it's going to be electric. We'll catch you on the flip side, and when we do, we are going to be doing it live. Yeah!
At the back.
Wait, do I have another beer? I do. Ready?